Hello everybody and welcome back to the European Championship 2017 in Utrecht. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the meta, and I think that the big question is, what is the meta at this event, Matt?
So what we've got to look at is we've had a new Forbidden Unlimited list introduced last week, which puts Norden away in his box of, we're done with this, and a couple of other small changes, well I say small changes, things like Terratop going to 1. But overall, even with the Forbidden Unlimited list, I don't believe the format's going to change as much as what you might expect from a normal Forbidden Unlimited list from the national championships. Zodiac is still incredibly powerful, gives a lot of card economy. It doesn't now let you draw many blind cards, but you're still doing all of these consistent combos and having all the disruption in the world. Masterpiece is still a boss. He's still running around and destroying everything and making everyone else's life miserable except for the guy who's winning. And you know, if you want to win more, you should play more Masterpiece, I'm just saying. There's different ways, it fits in so many different decks. We're still kind of in an engine format where you're essentially all building a race car using the same parts. I don't think there's a massive amount of room in the format for outsider decks to come in, because I think the big outsider is the Magician Pendulum deck, which is legal for this event. And Luke, we played a lot of this in the office, and we kept finding more and more ridiculous things that we could actually do with the Pendulum deck. I mean, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, so we kind of started with quite a strange core of like all of the old Magician Pendulum cards, like back, you know, Oath Dragon, Dragon Pit, Dragon Pulse, all those kinds of ones. We started with that base, or I was playing it, started with that kind of base, and then moved towards the newer ones and then fit it all in. But stuff like Apex Avian, I was trying out, that was getting dropped straight away just because Ghost Ogre is so prevalent that it's, yeah, just pointless nowadays. Yeah. But, you know, just being able to drop Zark surprisingly sometimes. You'll be surprised how many times that happened when I was testing the deck. Really did. Because people were just like, what, you're playing 2 of this Magician? I'm like, yes, I am playing 2 of that Magician. And that wasn't just like, that didn't just happen once. You know, one guy was like, oh, you're playing 2 White Wing, why would you play that? Oh, you're playing more than 1 Purple Poison Magician, why would you do that? You know, people just weren't expecting it. So I think, you know, maybe after this event, it's not going to be the best shout, but I think for this event where people are so seemingly underprepared for it, I think it might be a reasonable shout.
I mean, we got that from when we were having our discussions with the national champions. A lot of them just said, oh, I'm putting in 3 anti-spell fragrance on Ending Nightmare, and I hope that's going to be enough to get me there. A lot of people just doesn't seem to have had the time to really consider what's available, and you can combine it with Zodiac. Engine fits in the Pendulum, they're all level 4s. You've also got the True Draco, which I know you and me disagree about. I think there is a build because of the extra double searches you get from destroying your Iris Magician. There's a lot of room for it, and I think it's the biggest unknown this weekend is whether or not the Pendulum deck shows up, because as we know, the game rules change when Link Summoning comes out, and the whole Pendulum mechanic in itself has more hoops to jump through than it does this weekend. So this weekend is kind of like a bon voyage to traditional Pendulum Summon 5, pay 8, feel great format.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I'm really looking forward to seeing that kind of. It's super interesting. We've not really had an event that this happened with, where we've had a list so close to it and a new product release. At least last year during Rimini we had, I think it was Invasion Vengeance, I can't remember exactly which one it was, but we had a new set come out like 3 weeks before, and then a list kind of like 2 weeks before. It was plenty of time, whereas this has been really close to the event.
Definitely. I mean, there are kind of a few other decks in the meta at the moment as well that are still kind of just coming up the rear. We've got Paleozoic, and we've also got Wind Witch Invoked as well. Yeah,
that was one of the big surprises from the national championships, is seeing the Wind Witch Invoked not only taking down German nationals, which is traditionally the most competitive national championship in Europe. Sorry for everyone else who thinks otherwise. We saw it appear also and have repeat success getting into the top 8 of the UK national championships. Some Dragon Duelists took similar decks. I was talking to the guys from Israel, he also played the Wind Witch Invoked. And that kind of came out and took everyone for a surprise. To be honest, I wouldn't have called that, until I saw it in the German National Championship, I wouldn't have called that for this format. Whether or not it still works here, I'm not entirely sure, because now the cat's out of the bag. But it does a lot of surprising things. It can keep making fusion plays every turn. It has a little bit of graveyard disruption in with its fusion summons. It makes a Crystal Wing that's incredibly hard to deal with, and it's more irritating than Masterpiece at that point if you get to summon it through the correct means. So it'd be really interesting to see if the Wind Witch Crystal Wing deck actually does continue to do well now that people know how it works.
But what are people going to be putting into their deck to actually counter that? Because it was a case of the decks just couldn't deal with that.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the issues with the True Draco decks, especially if you're playing a Demise build. You, for example, don't really have any way of playing Kaijus or hand traps because Card of Demise makes you throw your whole hand out. So you end up in a situation where the Crystal Wing you can't destroy, and it's unaffected by a bunch of things. It's going to gain attack, it's going to negate your monster effects. And like the only main deck site that you're really playing is a Solemn Strike, which you use during the damage step. So you can then run over it in battle. And you've kind of got to make your deck jump through some gymnastics in order to actually deal with the Crystal Wing, which they can make literally off of a one-card opening. It just says, oh, I got the correct Wing Witch, here we go, we're in business, boys.
Yeah. I definitely think we're going to see a lot more Kaijus at this event. Not only for the Wind Witch Invoked matchup, but for the True Draco matchup as well. A lot of people were playing pure Zoo basically just on the fact that they could summon Norden with Fusion Substitute, whereas now that's just not a thing. More people have started playing the True Draco Demise deck or the True Draco Zoo deck. You know, people are starting to put the True Draco stuff in their decks. I
mean, that's my favourite to win the whole event is the Zodiac 2 Draco deck. We saw it at National Championships. We just saw the raw power of these two engines combined. That's my absolute favourite, hands down favourite to win this tournament. I mean, I do want to give a special mention to True King Dinosaurs and some of the crazy fields they can put out, but I don't think there's anything in the format quite as powerful as Zodiac True Draco.
Now, we're in a really interesting situation here, because I believe that what you said earlier about the fact that Rogue just probably isn't really going to factor into this event whatsoever. I think that's one of the first Euros that we've had so far where in the intro video we've said that Rogue isn't going to factor in whatsoever, and we don't believe that many people are really going to be playing anything different to what's in the current meta.
Yeah.
Especially because I remember last year and the year before that, we were literally having this conversation again where we were saying that there's 7 decks that are in the meta, and then there's also all of these other little decks that could make it out there. Though back then it was Mecha Phantom Beast who randomly made an appearance and then won.
When did that happen?
It won YCS, didn't it?
No. It made the top cut of YCS. Yeah, it made top cut of YCS Bochum, not last year, but the year before. Yes, I remember Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon seeing.
So incredibly random.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't have expected that at the time.
Yeah, it was an amazing turn where he summoned the Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Gustav Max and was able to destroy his opponent by using its effect.
Yeah, taking 2,000 points of burn damage to the face usually isn't a good way to win the game.
So good.
No. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
So good.
Yeah, I think it's the meta has really shrunk down in this event, but a lot of the good players I've spoken to, you know, it's like Edo's one of them, Finn is another one. No, these players who have gone to the World Championships have gone on decks that weren't necessarily the best deck at the time.
Yeah, sure. Shadow and Finn. I can't remember what Finn was playing last year.
He was playing Pendulums, but he was playing weird builds of it. But still, you know, they're not playing the traditional decks. They're playing their decks. They're playing what they want to play. So we may see that. We may see those kinds of guys in the top cut. We'll see.
So we already know exactly what your favourite is to win this weekend.
Yeah.
Now, are you sticking with your guns?
Yeah, I want Magician Pendulum to win.
Definitely?
It's not one of those, I think it's going to win. I would really like it to win.
Oh, it's on your wish list.
It's on my wish list.
I
Yeah.
want ninjas to win. That's on my wish list, but I
Yeah.
can't guarantee that's going to happen.
I want Gladiator Beasts in the top 8, but it's never going to happen.
Yeah, I always
So-
like to pick 2. I always like a backup as well. So if I'm going to have a backup, I'm going to go True Draco Zoo. That's my backup.
I think because I actually do enjoy the deck and watching the deck, I'd probably go with Wind Witch Invoked, and that's just because I'm a Synchro fanboy.
Yeah.
And then after that, I'll go Gladiator Beasts, because I'd always just throw in the kicker.
Sure, why not? It could just happen. It could just be that guy's weekend. He just goes, hey, it worked.
Yeah.
I don't see how, but he could just show up and take it.
War Chariot Dryden.
Play the level 8 Gladiator Beast, summon another one, overlay, make something huge.
I'm sorry, Rob, it's just not going to happen. It's not going to
It'll
happen.
one day. Don't crush
Today
me.
is not that day.
Don't crush me.
Well, we'll see.
Okay, well, thank you very much, guys. Very entertaining on what we're going to be seeing in the meta. And you should come back for more dueling action.